Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Sunday, so you'd think it'd be time to talk about nutrition, and to be honest with you, I actually had a really good topic in mind, but life got in the way this week. I didn't have a lot of time to give it the respect it was due, so you'll get it next week. So, in the interest of holding myself accountable, I wanted to make sure to release something this week to sort of give you guys something to think about in terms of how to optimize yourselves. And rather than talking about nutrition, I'm going to talk about something else that's really kind of important. I want to talk about some aspects of what I think community is and why I think it's important. So, realistically, I think it is essential and vital for success in anything in life and any sort of pursuit, any sort of goal or a dream. And I want to talk about basically some kind of just thoughts on it. I'm going to get a little philosophical here. I might ramble. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm kind of throwing this together at the last minute because I don't really want to do this. But again, got to hold yourself accountable. Say I make a video every week. I want to give you guys something to think about. So here you go. Now, it's kind of funny. In our society, growing up, it was always kind of a thing ingrained in us in school. It was more of like a subtext, but nevertheless, it was a lot of talk about how competitive everything is and how you need to be on top of everything. You need to work hard. You need to do these things and do that to get on top, to get a better job, and blah, 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 and succeed, whatever, right? Okay, for sure. But in that sort of ingrained mindset that at least I was raised in, it felt very individualistic. In other words, like me above everybody. And, there is some good to be put in being selfish and pursuing a goal or a dream or anything like that. But, the fact of the matter is you can't do it alone. Anything that's worth achieving in life, you're not doing it alone. You are going to need help in one form or another. And this is where community comes into play. I don't mean community as in like the town you live in or like your neighborhood or whatever. That's all bullshit. Like, bro, I've lived in Vegas on and off for almost 10 years, and I've never met one of my neighbors. It's not about where you live or whatever, but it's about the people with whom you spend time with and that you surround yourself with. So that is really vital, and I think that's an overlooked part of people's needs, really. I've certainly been in situations where I have prioritized the opposite, where it didn't matter who was around as long as it was, a highly rated place or a top ranked place or something along those lines or a well-known place, regardless of the community that it had. And, early on in pursuing anything, you make mistakes and you obviously make adjustments. And whenever I've been the most successful in my life, I've had a strong support group around me. I've had people who were there to help me in multiple aspects that you wouldn't necessarily think you need help. Help financially, help spiritually, help emotionally, help with logistics, help with planning, help with actual support. And without all of that, I never would have been as successful as I have been in the things that I've been successful at. It's actually a pretty interesting thing thinking about it. I'm trying to be a little bit vague and political here, but the fact of the matter is in moving to Colorado and having been exposed to what Factory X is, I was really lucky to learn what a proper community should be. Factory X praises itself on its culture, and it has a very strong culture led by the Godfather, Coach Mark Montoya, right? But, at the same time, there's a good community there. And my time spent there was very valuable for a lot of reasons, but one of the best things I learned while there was the value of the community around. I mean, every single week, somebody was fighting, and everybody was legitimately excited for them. We were all fans of each other, like legitimate fans. It was really, really incredible. We all knew each other's fighting styles so well because we trained with each other every day, and we needed to learn how to beat them. We were fans of everybody's career and what they had done and where they had succeeded, where they had fallen short, why they had fallen short, what had happened. Like, the catharsis of Factory X was so strong that catharsis was my word of the year for 2022. Because quite simply is that's what made that environment so special. And likewise, whenever I fought, I had a whole bunch of support and people were legitimate fans. I remember both fights when I was at Factory X, how even though I was in the cage by myself and I had my quarterman, like I could feel the collective energy of everybody watching wherever they were at on either the team stream, Discord, or whatever, Instagram Live, anything. Like I knew that everybody was watching and supporting me, and that lifted me to heights in my career that I didn't ever achieve before that. Likewise, it made me feel like I was a part of something special, because at the same time, whenever anybody fought, I knew that I had a part in their success, and likewise, when I fought, the people that trained with me knew that they had a part in my success. It was a collective energy that brought us all together and brought us all stronger. And not to say that it's always perfect like that, but the results aren't necessarily as important as the journey, and the journey is so invaluably sweet when everybody is together like that. Likewise, I've been a part of environments that were the exact opposite, where it was a collective group of individuals who were, I don't want to say narcissistic because that's the wrong way to phrase it, and that word's overused and undervalued and all that. But I think that it's a collective group of individuals where the main concern was their own personal success at any cost. And although some people found success like that, I never did, because, when I got in the cage, I could tell that I was alone. Like, not as many people were supporting me, especially from like a team-wide standpoint. And so, it's a tough thing, but the truth of the matter is who you surround yourself with is vitally important. And if you're not surrounded by love and support and excitement and enthusiasm, then you'll never achieve what you could achieve in whatever goal you have. Likewise, your life just won't be as sweet. I mean, emotional catharsis is a very real thing. It's what makes going to a live sporting event more exciting, because you're sharing the same emotional experience with however many thousands of people in the crowd. It's the same thing as watching a movie. I mean, I don't watch a lot of movies, or I don't want to watch a lot of TV, not because I don't want to necessarily, but because oftentimes I'm by myself and the experience just isn't the same as if you were sharing it with somebody else, right? And you're both excited to follow the story, to see what happens next, to sort of anticipate the actions of said character, or whatever the case may be, right? And so these sense of community is just an imperative to living a quality life, in my opinion. So life's too short to surround yourself with people that don't love you, that don't support you, that don't think the world of you, that don't think that you can be the greatest in the world at whatever you're doing. Because the truth of the matter is anybody can do anything. This world is full of a bunch of people whose names nobody knew, and by the time the work was done, they became household names. So there's no reason why any of you can't be the same. And I think an imperative part of that is to surround yourselves with people that value that see that in you, that see the potential in you, that see who you are and love you for who you are, but also see who you could be, and are excited for you to get to that point. The funny thing about community in life is it's just never permanent. I don't know why, it doesn't make sense to me, but it seems to be that different phases in your life offer different senses of community. In other words, when it's time to go, it's time to go. And it's funny how it works, because communities that can seem so tight are just gone. And I think that that's a normal part of life. I think that it seems to me like it's a type of a death, really, because I think death in life is not unlike losing a group of people, or a sense of community like that. And I think in life it's important to internalize the lessons and occasionally reminisce about what the past contained, but ultimately it's one of those things that's interesting, because I feel like if you sit by and lament the fact that you lost uh, any sense of connection like that, and there's multiple facets of life in which this can happen. Team or a group of people, a job, a girlfriend, a loved one. It all seems to parallel, and the funny thing is if you hold on to that loss, if you cling to it and you miss it because of what it once was, not only does it not help anything and it doesn't bring any of that back, but it also closes your eyes as to what is legitimately in front of you in terms of what the next great community in your life could be. And it seems pretty interesting, and it seems kind of heartless and cold to say, but I think the fact of the matter is communities in life are often like seasons. I think that every point in your life has a different group of people. Hopefully some stick around, but some don't. And at the end of the day, enjoy the time you have together. Love it, cherish it, learn from it. But when it's time to move on, life brings you into a way that brings you together with a new group of people and a new group of enthusiasm. But it's important to understand which is which and to have standards for yourself so that when it is time, for whatever bizarre reason life does this to you, that you have to find new people in a new group and new social circles or new connections, whatever, that you don't lament the ones that you've lost, that you're happy for the time, but you can detach yourself from it and let it go, because it seems to me that clinging on to those is very, very destructive. I don't mean to sound heartless or cold in saying this. For those of you that know me, you understand my position in this in terms of what I've lost. So I only speak from experience, and it has been destructive for me in the past in terms of like wanting to hold on to lost connections. And I've certainly gone down destructive paths and fallen into some deep pits because of it. But at the end of the day, when I've moved on and made a conscious choice to move on, but been happy for those that I've lost and whatever part of life they're doing, I still keep up with everybody. I still love everybody, But if you let it go and remove yourself from the attachment of it, new connections come along and life makes everything better. It's just different. It's a pretty unique thing. So, a bit of a shorter video today, a bit not as succinct and certainly not as scientific, but the fact of the matter is surround yourself with people who you love, that love you, that want you to succeed, that you want to succeed, and together experience the catharsis of life. That shared emotional experience is one of the greatest things of the human condition, and I think that people undervalue it for the sake of personal glory or self-satisfaction, when the reality is the collective is much more exciting for everybody. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of something to think about this week. Next week I'll be back on my bullshit. I got a great video planned next week. I'm going to talk about alcohol and all of its destructive nature, both physiologically, mentally, and in the short term and in the long term. I just wanted to give it more respect because it's a topic that I feel like is going to trigger some people, and I have a lot of inherent biases in that as well. So I want to make sure that I can treat it with the proper respect that it deserves. So I'm going to take another week, chew on that one, do a little bit more research, have it a bit more succinct, and then come back at you guys next Sunday with a boring half-hour video of me drolling on about science. So until then, give your people a hug, tell them you love them, watch them succeed, and watch how much yourself succeeds as well, or something. I don't know, fuck. All right, I'm going to bed. I love you guys. Bye.